Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin claims he still enjoys majority support and will prove it by facing a confidence vote in Parliament next month. In a live broadcast online, Muhyiddin apologised for having to address allegations relating to the position of the PN government and his legitimacy as the Premier amid the COVID-19 pandemic. He blamed the current political turmoil on certain parties who were taking advantage of the challenging situation, and said he informed the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah of the latest developments during an audience this morning. In the meantime, the Cabinet of Ministers and administrative machinery will continue to function as usual, as will the vaccination program. Commenting on the current political struggle, Muhyiddin said certain quarters were unhappy as he would not bow to their demands, including to intervene in court affairs to acquit several individuals who are being prosecuted for criminal offences. He also denied having been disloyal to the king, saying that what he has done is merely to preserve the supremacy of the constitution and defend the sanctity of the constitutional monarchy. Malaysia reported a record 19,890 new COVID-19 cases today, up by some 16% from the 17,105 infections detected yesterday. The previous record high was 17,786 new cases registered on Saturday. Selangor still topped the list today, with the most infections at 8,377, the second highest daily figure recorded by the worst-hit state, after 8,500 new cases were reported on July 25th. According to a tweet by Health DG Tan Sri Dr. Nur Hisham Abdullah, Kuala Lumpur was second with 2,467 infections, up from 2,309 a day ago. This was followed by Kedah 1,371, Johor 1,162 and Kelantan 1,003. The nation's cumulative COVID-19 cases increased further to 1.18 million today from just 758,967 as of July 1st. 210,522 patients are still fighting the infection, with 1,069 in the ICU, 553 of whom require respiratory support. New deaths were also at a record high at 257, taking the tally to 9,855. Meanwhile, 483,368 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine were administered yesterday, taking the cumulative total to 22.15 million vaccine doses. 14.7 million people, or 45% of the population, have received at least their first jab, including 7.4 million, or 23%, who are fully inoculated. British American Tobacco Malaysia's profitability in the third quarter of this year is expected to be hit by lower sales due to the full movement control order. Hong Leong Investment Bank Research said in a post-briefing note today that the restrictions will no doubt have an impact on BAT's sales volume. It said BAT's domestic volume in June this year more than halved to 172 million sticks from 379 million sticks in the previous month. However, the tobacco company is said to be well prepared to deal with logistical hiccups, having ensured that its retailers are adequately supplied with sufficient inventory, with reserves increasing by 66.5% year-on-year in the second quarter. The research house says this forward planning may be part of the reason its market share increased in the first half of this year. It maintained its target price of RM12.95 for the counter, while keeping its earnings forecasts unchanged. Separately, TA Research estimated the monthly impact of the lockdown to be 50 million ringgit in revenue, or about 25% of average monthly sales. While a further extension of the restrictions may not bode well for the group, from what it understands, BAT is committed to speedily accessing the market and resupplying products once the situation permits. TA said the company's first half FY21 revenue made up around 48% of its FY21 estimate, and it deems the result to be intact, considering factors such as greater conversion from illicit to the legal industry, which would offset the impact of the curbs. It kept its buy call on BAT with an unchanged target price of 15 ringgit 70 sen. BAT shares fell 0.4% to 14 ringgit 48 for a market value of 4.13 billion ringgit. Lei Hong cautions that record-high prices of soybean meal and corn, which are poultry feed ingredients, may affect the chicken product and egg producers' profitability in the coming years. Lei Hong Executive Chairman Datuk Yap Hong Chai said in the company's latest annual report that the group will take the necessary measures to maintain its profitability and continuously seek new farming and chicken processing methods to reduce cost and increase efficiency. He said Lei Hong transacts corn and soybean in US dollars, while approximately 15% of its sales are done in Singapore dollars. As such, the group is exposed to foreign exchange risk. Lei Hong's financial performance has weakened. In the fourth quarter of FY21, its net loss widened to 7.46 million ringgit from 3.74 million a year earlier, although revenue rose to 236.97 million ringgit from 210.51 million previously. For the full year, earnings fell to 3.18 million ringgit from 3.4 million ringgit a year earlier, while revenue was higher at 923.66 million versus 839.7 million in the previous year. It did not declare any dividend for FY21. Lei Hong's share price closed unchanged at 30 cents today, giving the company a market value of about 198.09 million ringgit. It is scheduled to announce its first quarter FY22 financial results this month. Daya Maju LTAT is contemplating cross-examining Transport Minister Datuk Sri Dr. Wee Ka Siong and pursuing a discovery application in the judicial review against the government for the termination of the Klang Valley Double Trekking Phase 2 or KVDT2 contract with Daya Maju. Daya Maju's lawyer Datuk Lim Chi Wee told theedgemarkets.com that it is considering grilling Wee when the judicial review starts. Lim said the discovery application is also being contemplated to obtain relevant documents from the government. He said there will be another KVDT2 case management on September 7th, pending exchange of documents between parties involved in the case and interlocutory applications for matters including the discovery application. Lim, who is a senior partner at law firm Lim Chi Wee Partnership, said the High Court is then expected to set the dates for hearing the judicial review.